Hi, today we're going to be looking at strengthening our posture and increasing the health of our back, particularly due to our current lifestyles. So we're going to be doing a flow focused on our posterior chain, which is the group of muscles basically that travels from the back of your neck all the way down to your heels. And it's all of those muscles on the back of your body. They act together, sometimes individually, sometimes together, and they are called our posterior chain. So our posterior literally just means on the back of you. It's often used in medical terminology or in yoga or in anatomy. So your posterior just means your back and your anterior means your front. So we're working on our posterior chain today. It often ends up pretty weak just due to the way that we spend our lives, sitting down, not really strengthening it that much, particularly when a lot of workouts are abdominal focused. So trying to get you that six pack. So we're going to look at balancing that all out, working on our posterior, but in a yogic way. So we're not going to be working crazy hard. We're just going to be looking at using our posterior chain to help us increase the health of our body and increase our posture, but also increase the safety of a couple of our poses. So welcome. If you've not met me before, my name's Naomi, and thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you will enjoy yourself. Please make sure, whether you've practiced with me before or not, that you look after yourself, that you listen to your body, and that you are safe and fit and healthy to practice today. So we're going to start lying on our fronts. So just simply coming down, lying on your front. So we're starting a little bit different today, diving straight in, taking the hands one on top of the other, forehead to the hands, elbows out to the side, and we're already slightly in a back bend here. So just close the eyes and begin to settle in. Just take a few cycles of breath. Allow the body to release, allow the body to relax, settle in. And so because our posterior chain is the muscles on the back of our body, when they're in contraction, when they're shortening, you can imagine that if we shorten the muscles on our back body, that's going to draw us into a back bend. And that's where our posterior chain is so useful in yoga. So we can strengthen our posterior chain, improve the safety and the comfort of our back bends, but also that then translates to benefits in our daily lifestyle by supporting our spine, balancing out an imbalance between anterior and posterior chains. So basically you're doing everything that you possibly could for your body and your mind right now. So settle yourself in. Draw yourself in and come and join me in your space. Trying to breathe in and out through the nose today if you can. And particularly when we're working on those back bends, really think about breathing. Try not to hold your breath as we come into our back bends. Just gently, slowly wiggling up, and we're going to bring our elbows directly underneath our shoulders. Spread the palms and press the tops of the feet into the mat. So as you press the tops of the feet into the mat, you're squeezing the glutes and you're coming into your Sphinx pose, but really think about getting that back body working. So think of all those muscles that transcend from the backs of the heels all the way to the top of the neck, and you want them to be working. So it's not quite as passive as you might have thought your Sphinx pose is. It's a little bit more active. And it's a really safe way to work into our back bend because we're using the body as it should be used rather than just hanging out here, crinking into the neck and the lower back. We're using our muscles. So close your eyes, remember to breathe, feel that warmth coming into the body. And then we're gently going to release all the way down to the mat. Take the hands either side of the shoulders. Gently push up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Take the feet hip width apart. Take the hands so they're just wider than shoulder width. If you wish, slowly wiggle out the legs, but don't walk those legs as fast as you normally would. So maybe just once or twice each side. Nice and slow, nice and steady. We're changing our habits of our yoga practice today. Going to rock forward all the way to plank, nice and strong, and then drop the knees to the earth. Once you've dropped those knees to the earth, just bring the wrists so that they're underneath the shoulders. We're going to come through our cat-cow, so allow the belly to dip, allow the chest to rise, and then exhale round through the back gaze between the knees. And this time, as you come into your cow pose, really, really think about squeezing the muscles on your back body. So we're working, as we come into our cow, we're working on that posterior chain. We're getting those shoulder muscles, particularly those upper back muscles, really, really fired up. You'll feel it. I can. So open up your chest, lift up, squeeze back muscles, good. And then just release. Creep the hands a couple of inches further forward, tuck the toes, push back, downward facing dog. Take a moment to breathe. Gently gaze between the hands. And we're going to step one foot either side of your hands and sink down into Malasana, into your yogi squat. Bring the hands together. If this is way too deep for you, then just lift the hands, lift the hips. Find yourself a little bit higher up. So this is now lengthening through our glutes. It's lengthening through the back. So it's just going to stretch out a little bit of that work that you've just started doing. Then we're going to lift all the way up. And we're going to step straight back to downward facing dog. Take a big cycle of breath and then let it go. Nice. Just beginning to gaze forward, tiptoe the feet all the way to the front of the mat. Take the feet together. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way high to the sky. Gaze to the thumbs. Then take your gaze forward. Squeeze your glutes. So you really, really want to get the glutes fired up here. Tuck the pelvis. Begin to shorten the muscles of that posterior chain. So get those muscles activated as you come into a baby back bend. And you will feel that work. We're not just lobbing ourselves back, crinking into the neck. We're working really, really hard, keeping our body nice and strong as we gently come into that back bend. Then allow the muscles to release. And take a breather as you exhale into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. If you can't have your fingertips to the mat, no problem, bring the hands to the shins. We're going to work on strengthening our posterior chain here. So release down. Relax the back of the neck, and then inhale, come up. And as you come up to halfway, feel the muscles on your back, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves. Feel them really, really activate. Release down. Lift. Release. And lift. One more time. Release down. And lift up. Good. This time release all the way down. Take the hands to the mat. Step back to plank position. Exhale, lower the knees, the chest and the chin. Inhale, snake forward. Come to cobra. And as you come into cobra, remember how you were in Sphinx. Squeeze the elbows in. Activate those glutes as hard as you can. Press the feet into the mat. And really, really feel your back body working. Feel how strong you feel in your cobra pose. We're not just hanging out here. We're really, really working hard. And then exhale. Push it back to child's pose. Take a big breath in. Allow your body to relax. Allow your body to soften. We're going to come all the way back. So slide it forward. Take the feet hip width apart. Squeeze the glutes. Find your cobra pose. And you're going to start to feel those muscles getting a little bit tired. Maybe it's because I did a glutes workout this morning. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Push yourself back. So if you feel absolutely fine, then that's okay. If you're feeling it, that's okay, because I am too. We're going to slide forward. Come back to cobra. Wrap those elbows in. Squeeze your back body. Shoulder blades are knitting together. So we're working every muscle in our back body. And then big exhalation. Draw yourself all the way back to child's pose. You can release the forehead on the mat if it reaches. And just take a moment to breathe. Notice how good it feels in your cobra pose to feel activated. Notice now how your back feels. Sometimes a lot of us, we get a little tingling, a pinching in the lower back when we come from cobra to child's pose. Maybe you don't have that now. Hopefully you don't. And if you do, you're still working too deep. You're not strengthening into your cobra pose. You have to use your muscles to get you into the back bend, not your arms. And then inhale, creep yourself forward. Come all the way down. And we're going to bring our feet a little bit closer together. You can bring them fully together if you don't have any kind of back pain. If you do struggle with your back sometimes, then just keep the feet hip width apart. Take the hands either side of the chest, wrap the elbows in. Squeeze the posterior chain, so squeeze those muscles on the back of your body, lift. And then for the challenge, if you've done this with me before, you know what's coming. We're going to lift our hands. Remember to breathe, easier said than done. Really, really find your breath. And just notice how high you can actually get. So your toes are firmed into the mat. Your chest is lifted and your muscles are working like crazy. You can notice in my voice that it's a little bit of a challenge. And then we're going to take our hands to the mat. We're going to tuck our toes, push up and back, downward facing dog. And now if you want, pedal out those feet a little bit more. You might be feeling actually tighter through the backs of the legs than you were to begin with. And that's because we've fired up those muscles. So in yoga is notorious for stretching out the hamstrings and not strengthening them. So you might actually feel a little bit tighter through your hamstrings right now. That's okay. Trust me, there is space for all of us to have a little bit more strength in our hamstrings. Really nice. Then when you're ready, gaze between the hands, tiptoe the feet all the way to between the hands. Take the feet together. And then exhale, roll down, all the way down. And then as we come up this time, we're going to gently lift our body up, squeeze the muscles of the back body, bring the hands to center, gaze forward, squeeze the glutes, baby back bend. And then gently roll all the way down, folding down at the hips, release the hands to the earth or to the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back to plank position. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, snake forward, come to cobra, squeeze those muscles, really good. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take a breath, and then release your knees to the mat. Then we're going to bring our hands back to underneath our shoulders, so like we did for our cat-cow. Then shift the left hand so that it comes underneath the face to the center of the mat. Inhale, reach the right hand all the way to the ceiling. And feel the squeeze of the muscles between the shoulder blades, so some of the posterior chain is working here. And then release into a twist. So you take a right hand all the way underneath, thread it all the way down. And exhale, just settle. Take the tops of the feet to the mat, or the toes tucked, but keep both feet evenly firmed in. So we're stretching out now. Release. Inhale back to center. Switching sides, right hand to the mat, left hand to the ceiling. Squeeze the muscles, lift the gaze. Really, really feel those muscles working. Good. And then thread it through. How good does this stretch feel after you've just activated all of that posterior chain? Release the side of the head, the shoulder down. You can move the right hand just away from the face if you wish. Just take a moment to breathe. Close the eyes. Take a few moments of calm. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Untuck the toes, and you've got options here. You can take the knees a little bit wider, or you can keep them more narrow. Choice is yours, yogi's choice. And then creep the hands forward. Release the forehead down to the earth, hips to heels. Extended child's pose, and then just roll the palms so they face up to the sky. Just surrender into that stretch. Then turn the palms back to the mat. Creep the hands over towards the left-hand side. Stack right hand on top of left. Release the head between the upper arms again. And just breathe. Feel that stretch through the side of the body. And then come to the other side. Just stretch over, release, lengthen through the other side of your body. And then inhale to center. Release the forehead to the mat. Take the hands either side of the body, palms facing up. And just settle here. If you find that this is uncomfortable, maybe take a cushion under the head if that feels good. Or you can always take the arms out in front of you for a little bit more support if that's how you prefer your child's pose. Again, it's your choice, yogi's choice. And this is where we're going to finish our practice today.
So short, sweet, and a little bit of fire. But now just come back to your breath. I know there was a lot to take on board today. So take a few moments now just to allow the body to settle, to allow the mind to settle. And just come back to a place of quiet, of peace. And just allow that posterior chain to be stretched out. And then inhale, gently walk your way all the way up to kneeling. You might just want to circle the head, either side. Just release into your body a touch. So thank you so much for practicing with me. It was a quick one, but hopefully you felt the difference in your back bends, particularly in Cobra, with that squeeze of the glutes and the back body. It's really, really going to help you to increase your strength in your range of motion rather than just throwing yourself into a passive stretch. It should really, really revolutionize your practice. If you want to learn more about the posterior chain, then head to the link just below in the description. So if you just head down here, there's a little link there to an article on my blog that has a little bit more about it so you can understand a little bit more about it. Let me know in the comments if you found that useful, if you now finally understand how to use your glutes and your back body in your back bends. I'd love to know. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you all again soon.